Bulls Nation, off of that back-to-back with Philadelphia, our second game of this back-to-back against the Miami Heat was a tough one, was a grueling one, and was one that was very, very defensive-minded. But the Chicago Bulls did not manage to get a victory once again in this game. And did we perform better than we did against the Philadelphia 76ers? Yes, we did. But the same problems still arise from this team. So without further ado, let's talk about the Chicago Bulls versus the Miami Heat in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls versus Miami Heat game reaction. The Chicago Bulls, at the end of the day, played against the Miami Heat, a team that is known to wear you down defensively, a team that is known to keep the score very, very low. And while the Bulls did very well for the most part to play their own game with them, to keep up with them as they struggled to score, but their defensive presence was good. Similar to ours in many ways in today's game, we simply could not get over the line in the fourth quarter, losing single-handedly to one player in that fourth quarter. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Let me know in the comments below your player of the game, and let me know overall your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls off of this second game of the back-to-back. Now, the scoreline for this game was 101 to 90, so you could tell by the way that the score was, it was a very tough defensive game. But did we play better against Philadelphia, or did we play better against Miami? And the answer is we played better against Miami. I think we really did. The scoreline might not reflect that in terms of how we scored the ball, but this is what Miami is known for. So I thought we did play better against the Miami Heat. But the same problem still came up with this team in terms of how we turned the ball over, how there was no balance in the scoring, and there was little to no help for Zach LaVine or for anybody really to find balanced scoring in this team. And these are the things you need to look for at the end of the day. This is not an excuse by any stretch of the means. This team needs to find its balance, needs to find its offensive balance, needs to find its defensive balance. This team needs to find efficiency in passing, efficiency in limiting turnovers, and efficiency on the defensive end as well. At the end of the day, we played better. We stepped up. We showed a little bit of pride in this game, and I'm not going to be frustrated with the way that we lost this game. This is how Miami play. Miami will beat you down. Miami will make sure that you're tired out. What I can't accept is that first quarter with 7 turnovers. I believe we had 15 or 16 turnovers in this game, maybe a little bit more than that. I can't accept that first quarter. The way that we played was very similar to Philadelphia, and I can't accept losing to Goran Dragic's 20 points in the fourth quarter to allow the Chicago Bulls to lose that game. We lost to one player in that fourth quarter. That should never, ever, ever happen to any team. At the end of the day, when he makes a few shots, he made some threes, he got fouled by Temple, and that started things off really. And at the end of the day, because of that, we lost this game. We lost this game because one player got hot and no one else did anything in that fourth quarter except for Goran Dragic. So that's frustrating as well. But on the terms of the way that the Bulls played, the Bulls did the very similar things to Philadelphia. We played better, for sure. Zach LaVine played a lot better. And that's pretty much about it, to be honest. No one else really had a tremendous game besides Zach LaVine. But to be honest, it was very, very similar in many ways as well. So there is a positive that we've played better, but also the negative is we played very similar as well. So hopefully that comes to an understanding. Yeah, we played a little bit better, but the same problem still consisted. Turnovers, points against turnovers, second point opportunities, and balanced scoring was not found in this game. I mean, before we go into individual performances, which we will go into for sure, we need to find more scoring in this team. And I can't believe I'm saying this, because at the end of the day, we are not helping Zach LaVine at all in terms of scoring. And he is the one that's getting pressed. He's the one that's getting doubled. And he had a tremendous game, Zach LaVine, in terms of scoring. He turned the ball over the most of anybody on this team once again, which is frustrating to see, considering a lot of his turnovers are they're not forced at all. It's literally him losing the ball. It slips out of his hands, or he passes it to out of bounds. It's not like he's getting the ball stolen away from him. It's literally Zach LaVine just giving up the ball. And that's the most frustrating thing. That's the thing that it's frustrating to see. But overall, I want to talk about these players. Patrick Williams, 21 minutes played, only 3 points. Wendell Carter, 22 minutes played, 4 points. Kobe White, 34 minutes played, 8 points. We can go further. Garrett Temple, 21 minutes played, 5 points. Otto Porter, 12 minutes played, 0 points. Satoransky, 16 minutes played, 2 points. Denzel Valentine, 17 minutes played, 5 points, even though I thought Denzel played decently today. Where's the scoring in this team? Who is scoring on this team? We had we had Larry Markkinen over 10 points, Zach LaVine over 10 points, and Thaddeus Young over 10 points. Who else scored over 10 points in this game? That's it's as simple as that. We needed to score, and the turnovers stopped us from scoring a lot more than what we could have. But at the end of the day, there was no help for Zach LaVine, no help for Larry Markkinen, no help for Thaddeus Young. They were simple as that. You can't have 3 people doing the scoring and everybody else taking the day off. It's as simple as that. We need to find balanced scoring. This is something this team was known for in the first half of the season. Balanced scoring, everybody getting at least over 10 points. And we shared the ball. I'm not sure why we're not sharing the ball, but at the end of the day, the turnovers have increased, and we've just not been the same team we were at the beginning of the season, or even towards the end of the first half of the season where we're getting the bulk of our wins. So this is something that needs to change. But those 3 players that got over 10 points were phenomenal, in my opinion. I thought Larry had a great game today. I know efficiency scoring-wise, he missed a lot of layups, but I thought he was in the offense, and that's all you want to see from a player like Larry Markkinen. Obviously, Zach LaVine was amazing scoring-wise. You get a guy like Jimmy Butler on you for most of that game, and to get 30 points is very impressive. Thaddeus Young is always impressive. So these are the things that we know that these players are good. We've seen it. We've seen it all season. Even when Larry Markkinen is not playing well or he's barely playing, we've seen it out of Larry Markkinen. We've seen it out of Zach LaVine. We've seen it out of Thaddeus Young consistently. We've seen it out of Kobe White sometimes as well. Today wasn't his best game either. But we need to see it more. And I hope that we can see more balanced scoring out of this team. We need to find ways for this team to score more. And when we're able to do that, we will be in more games than not. In this game, we were close, but at the end of the day, Miami really beat us up, and we only had a few players that responded to that beat up, and that's why we were close, but we were not going to win that game. I think many people would have seen that throughout the entire game. When it came to the fourth quarter and we were tied, I knew we weren't winning this game, and I didn't expect Goran Dragic to drop 20 points in the fourth quarter for us to lose the game, but I knew we weren't going to win because we didn't have enough players that was ready to score the ball. We simply didn't. So I knew from the fourth quarter we probably weren't going to win this game. And that's obviously very sad to say, but that's how I felt going into that fourth quarter. And that's exactly what happened to this team. We lost by one player, but we also lost because we couldn't defend and we couldn't score either. So there you go. That's just something to keep in mind when you go into the individual performance of this game. Notice that I'm only going to mention those 3 players because no one else had great games today. Larry Markkinen, 20 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds. He made some threes today. He was very good at the 3-point line. The only negative with Larry Markkinen, you have to make your layups. You have to make your layups. There were a lot of layups today where if Larry Markkinen, before the Orlando Magic injury, was taking those shots, more often than not, he makes those layups. Today's game, he missed more layups than he made. That's unacceptable as a center or as power forward. He played backup center today as well. You need to make your layups. You need to prove that you're a big man. You need to play big in the paint. And when you miss open layups, or even when you miss contested layups, more often than not, they're going to capitalize on the other end. And that's exactly what they did. So many times, off of turnovers, off of missed layups, you saw an open Jimmy Butler for a dunk, or you saw a fast break that was not guarded by the Bulls at all. If you make those shots, those fast break points get limited. So that's the only thing I can really say about Larry Markkinen. You can say that with everybody on this team. Wendell Carter as well had a lot of missed layups. Even Thaddeus Young, to an extent, missed a lot of layups. But it's just something for the whole team to really consider. You need to make your layups. You need to make your points in the paint so you don't give them fast break opportunities, which is exactly what we did. Zach LaVine, 30 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Zach LaVine did the bulk of his damage from the three-point line today. Again, they know how to guard Zach LaVine now, in my opinion. He's getting limited shots in the paint. I believe he only had 2 free throws in today's game. That's something for Zach LaVine, who's known to be a slashing player to cut into the paint and to get his points within the paint. To only have 2 or maybe it was 4. I'm not really sure how many free throws he took. But compared to Jimmy Butler had like 9, 10 free throws in that game. Zach LaVine had nowhere near that. So things you need to look at, things that needs to be rectified in this. Foul calls, we need to make sure that we are working the other team's defense to the point where they have to foul us. We didn't do that enough today. But three-point line was Zach LaVine's bread and butter today, and he did very, very well. I can't put it all on Zach LaVine. I know he turned the ball over a lot today. Same with the last game against Philly. He turns the ball over. We all know this about Zach LaVine, but I hope within this half of the season he can rectify that. Some games he doesn't turn the ball over at all, but most games he's turning the ball over the most on this team. So something that he needs to look into. When you have the ball in your hands as much as Zach LaVine does, I understand some of those turnovers are because he has the ball in his hands so much, but a lot of those turnovers are his own doing, which is very frustrating. And Thaddeus Young, 13 points, 3 assists, 10 rebounds. Those are the only 3 players I'm going to mention because I don't think anybody else. You could say Kobe White had a semi-decent game because he did have 2 steals. No one else, in my opinion, had a great game. It's unfortunate. When you don't see scoring in this game, you see many players struggle. These players need to find ways to score. And I also mentioned one more player, Denzel Valentine, 5 points, 1 assist, 7 rebounds. This is another player that I didn't want to see get garbage time minutes against Philly. I hated when Billy Donovan basically threw Denzel Valentine into garbage time minutes when he's been playing all season, and most often than not, he's been playing extremely well. He came into this team off of the bench, didn't get garbage time minutes, and he made an impact defensively as well, which is something he's not known for. He made an impact on the rebounds. He made an impact defensively, and he did his thing offensively in an okay way. 5 points, it's average for Denzel Valentine. But overall, he made the biggest impact on the bench besides Thaddeus Young, in my opinion. It's as simple as that, and I think he deserves a little bit of credit. A little bit. No one else deserves credit on this team for how good they played. Really, that's how bad it was. 4 players that I've mentioned, or 5, out of 12 players. It's just not good enough. Let's go into the must improve. I know exactly who I'm targeting for the must improve today. I am going to be targeting Wendell Carter Jr. He played 22 minutes today, only had 4 points. As a big man, when Bam Adebayo is not playing, I know Kelly Olynyk is a decent player. I know that he's an effective player. I know his plus minus is through the roof for the Miami Heat. To only have 4 points in this game is not good enough for a starting center. It's just not. And it looks like he's very hesitant. I want to see that Wendell Carter that just returned from injury, right? He just returned from injury in February. He played a few games, maybe 6 games, 18 points, 17 points, post-ups. All these things that we saw from Wendell Carter Jr., we don't see them enough anymore. And it's not... what pisses me off is that Larry Markkinen is a main reason for that, in my opinion. He's getting a lot of the shots. Wendell Carter is now not the second or third option on this team anymore. But when you're in the paint, go and take the shot. Be aggressive. That's all you can ask for. I'm not expecting 18 points from Wendell Carter every night, because at the end of the day, he's not that player. He's a player that can get over 10 points and 10 rebounds a night, in my opinion. He can average a double-double if he really wants to, in my opinion. But you need to be aggressive. Aggressiveness out of Wendell Carter is what's going to get him to the next level. If he wants to be on this team, he needs to be aggressive. He needs to go in that paint. 9 rebounds. Go and get your points as well. Go and get offensive rebounds. That game against the Pelicans, when he had 15 rebounds, I want to see him get offensive rebounds and go and score that. I remember that game fondly because of how well he rebounded that ball. He's not a bad rebounding center. He really isn't. But you need to be aggressive if you're going to be the future of this team. It's as simple as that. Go up with your points. If you're in the paint, post someone up. He only did it a few times today. Nowhere near enough than what we saw when he returned from injury. It's as simple as that. You could target every player on this team besides the 5 that I mentioned, to be honest. You could even put Kobe White in that category as well. At the end of the day, not many people really contributed much to this game, which is why we only scored 90 points. And the player of the game has to be Zach LaVine when he's having 30 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. A phenomenal game from Zach LaVine. Again, I feel frustrated that he didn't get any help in this game. This needs to change. This needs to change, and it needs to change dramatically. We need to see balanced scoring. When Zach LaVine passes the ball up, or when Zach LaVine's on the bench, we need players to step up more than what they're doing. Garrett Temple, in my opinion, had one of his worst games as a Chicago Bull. He got very frustrated today. Got a technical foul today. Apparently, he's second in his entire career. We need to see balance from these players, not frustration. I understand it's a frustrating time. You got beat up by Philly, and Miami Heat are wearing you down as well. So it is frustrating. I understand that. But everybody on this team needs to take responsibility for that. Everybody that had a bad game, own up, take responsibility, and prove your worth. That's all I can say. Prove your worth. Otto Porter had a terrible game, and he had a terrible game tonight. You can excuse that from injuries. But what about Satoransky? He had 2 bad games, and he's been playing nearly all season. We need to see more out of these players. We need to see more out of the Chicago Bulls in general. The Bulls' record is 16-20. All of a sudden, we went from 2 games away from 500 to 4 within a blink of an eye. And we're fighting. We have to scrap now. We have to scrap. Every victory counts. We're giving away too many games. We gave away that Philadelphia game. That was a golden opportunity. And this game, I think Miami well and truly deserved to win that game. I think they're a better team than us. But we need to start winning games. The next game is against the Toronto Raptors. This is a game that the Bulls need to win at the end of the day. But this is also another tough game. I believe the Bulls can go out and beat the Raptors. I really do. But at the end of the day, we need to see better from this team. We need to limit our turnovers. We need to pass the ball, move the ball. And we're not seeing that enough. Out of these last 2 games, we have not seen that enough. We need to go back to the way that we were playing at the first half of the season with that ball movement. Ball movement, player movement. We're not seeing that. We're just not. And it's frustrating and it's upsetting. And back-to-back, 2 very disappointing games in my opinion. We played better today, and that's something that I guess you could take a positive out of. But overall, it's just been very disappointing to see the Bulls' last 2 games, and that needs to be changed. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video, and hopefully the Raptors will be a much better game to watch. Take care, and peace.